This video is for Prime Go users. You know what this thing is. It is a battery-powered DJ controller. And what I'm here to show you is something I found on Amazon. It's made by Mefe, M-E-F-E. It is a UHF MS-1. Now what this is basically a guitar transmitter. But you get two of them. You get one as a receiver and one as a transmitter. But it's made for a guitar. Specifically, it's very cheap actually, so you can get them under 40 bucks. What I wanted to try is to see if this would work with a powered speaker. So this is battery powered, this is battery powered, and this is battery powered. Okay. Specifically chose this model because there's a ton of them on Amazon now. They range anywhere between $29 all the way up to 200 bucks. The reason I chose this one is because it has supposedly 2.5 millisecond latency. That's crucial for DJing and stuff. So it operates in UHF frequency. What you could do, I guess, you have XLR out here and then you have the booth out here. So what I'm going to do is, the first one I'm going to show you, I have two of them actually, one for each channel. You can pair them up. Hang on. Jack there. You can pair them up so one transmitter is received by two receivers. That would be mono system. But out of the box, I just turned it on, and they're on different channels, and I'll show you that. So on the back of the Bose, this is just for experimental purposes. You don't need two of these. Okay, let's turn the volume up. Actually pretty quiet. Very, very little hiss or noise for that matter. So I'm gonna touch the top of this and you will see when the signal level. So that one is now blinking, and then the other channel. So they are independent, they're on different channels. Just using the 60 hertz hum. Now, what's interesting, let's turn this down here, is the quality is actually pretty good. Okay, there's one. It actually can fit two side by side. Yeah, sort of. That's the best I can do. I don't want to get taken down by YouTube, obviously. But maybe I could find... Yeah, let's pick a... Just in case, this is Zach Brown, Castaway, Select Mix, okay? I'm not going to play the whole thing, I'm just going to loop it. So they can't get me. Hopefully they won't. Alright, and then we're not using this anymore, because we're not using XLR, but using the booth. So, turn this up to about 50%, which is 0 decibels, and then crank it up. Okay, first of all, we need to do that again. Okay. Pretty bad loop. Not a good loop, okay? Very, very clear. And fully battery powered. I mean, this thing is ridiculous. So assume you have another Bose S1, which I'm charging right now, and that's, you know, according to this, 50 meters, up to 50 meters away. 2 milliseconds, look at that. UHF frequency, strong anti-interference, USB rechargeable lithium-ion battery, blah blah blah. So, I mean, this is cool as shit, and it's cheap. Two different channels. Turn this one down. There you go. And just showing the two different channels. So the one thing I do notice is when you start to overpower it, it will seem to duck the audio a little bit. Remember, this was designed for a guitar pickup, which is way different impedance and signal level, but for some reason it's working. Okay, so when you start to overdrive it, so what we can do is, when you start to overdrive it, I'm going to turn this up to about 50%. I wish there was a gain stage, but... Okay. So what it needs is, I think, maybe turning it down to a reasonable... That would be your max level. Let's see. Still too loud. Alright, let's go 3/4 up on this, which is above 0 decibels. And we'll turn this up until we start to hear where it cuts out. Well, I heard a little bit of noise. Not doing it again. Okay, right about there. So I'm going to safely say that a good level would be at 3. You know, that's... And then turn this up. Maybe a little above 3. Again, this is the first time I'm testing this. We'll go about 3.5. So I would say that'd be your max level before this little transmitter starts to say, whoa, 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 too much signal. Perhaps there could be an attenuator or whatever. Now, when I've got this maxed out like this, I do hear some hiss. You know, so I put it back down to 0. There's no hiss. Let's try it again. Yeah. It is seem to be overdriving it a little bit, but that could be fixed with a pad. You know, I don't know if I can find one. Maybe I can find a 10 decibel. I'm gonna look for it. A 10 decibel tip ring 1/4-inch pad, which will knock it down. I don't know if it would mess with the signal audio, or just keep it below like 3.5. YouTube will get on my ass. And it has a pretty good battery, up to 5-hour battery life. And the you know, the Den and Go's got what, 4? The Bose have 11-hour battery life. That's best case. What I'm thinking of doing is, if you look at the transmitter, for one thing, it's solid metal here. And what I was thinking is getting a couple O-rings, so when you plug these in this case it's not actually rotating around, but when you're putting it on the speaker, it does want to spin. So let's assuming you're using 1 per speaker. That's what I would do. By the way, there's a little meter of how much power you got left. Let me see what happens when you turn it off. I don't know. But I don't like that this spins. So what I'm going to do is actually get a little O-ring in there so it stays nice and solid. Now, ideally, you want this up higher so it's out of the way, so this metal is not interfering with the signal. But you can bend it in different ways or whatever. There's pretty much no reason you would put 2 of these into 1 speaker. I'm impressed. There's a button here you can change the frequency. There's micro USB in case you want to charge it. So my thinking is, we have a USB right here, media. Get a dual USB charge cable. So that way you can power 2 things at once, and then plug them into the transmitters, and then you don't have to worry about powering these, even though they have a 5-hour battery life. If you wanted to run, because I'm running on AC right now, and then the only thing you'd have to worry about would be the receiver and the speaker. Overall, I think this is a good deal. I mean, for what they're charging, 30-something bucks, and it seems very clean, and that's a perfect system. Let me tell you. That's just with one. That's it, guys. Take a look for it. MIFI UHF-MS1 digital system, 50 meters. Don't know if it's digital or analog. Don't care. I have not been able to test the range because I just got them and I would have to do this outside. But I got a lot of, here we go, here's the specs. Dynamic range is greater than 90 decibels. Latency is less than 2 milliseconds. 100 channels. Less than 0.5% distortion. It's transmitting at 15 decibels. Transmission distance is 50 meters. Reception sensitivity is less than 110 decibels per meter, or full working hours is 6.5 hours. Signal to noise ratio is not great, but 85 decibels greater than. Charge time is 3.5 hours. Frequency response, not great, but 30 to 18 kilohertz, and it is 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. I'm very impressed. I mean, seriously, Bose could buy something like this and rebrand it, and these could be wireless speakers. I wish these were XLR, because I'd like to use the master. I guess I have to use the booth output or whatever, or get an XLR cable or something and whatever. That's it. I'm glad you guys are watching. Appreciate it, and check them out. Amazon, man. You can always take them back. These are not going back.